right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I am here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with Dave DeFore. Dave, how are you?
I'm great. I love that we just spent a bunch of time together and just didn't even think about doing a podcast.
Right. This is
we did think
hysterical.
about it.
We absolutely thought about it. We have spent the last basically 5 days together.
Literally hanging out.
Dave, you broke the record for the Fast Break Breakfast all-time co-host who I spent the most time with in Vegas. The previous record was 1 hour. So by us spending maybe
we spent a lot of time together.
With us seeing each other like 5 straight days and spending a lot of time together, you shattered the record previously held by Chuck Anderson, who spent 1 hour with me in Las Vegas. We took a nice photo though, which is somewhere behind me on the shelf.
And you and I did not take a photo.
No photos
I don't
together
really do that
whatsoever. We thought about podcasting. We kind of sort of had planned to podcast on a Sunday or a Monday, or maybe even a Tuesday, but we ran into a couple of issues. One, first of all, it would have been way harder for us to podcast in person. Because like to get the video, we'd have to move a video to set up, and it would look horrible. So like podcasting through Zoom was going to be easier. And then on Monday, I started feeling maybe not the best. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do these Grizzlies shows. And then we'll record once we all get home. It turns out, Dave, I have COVID. So that's not ideal. I've already let you know before the show.
And I tested negative. So,
yep. So Dave's negative. I am
all
COVID
these healthy
positive.
Listen,
I will.
Keith, you got to switch it up. Get fewer donuts.
Yep.
More
You're right.
Protein shakes.
You're right. As far as I know, everybody who I spent the most time with, I've told them all. If you're just finding out now about this and you saw me and we touched hands or lips, I'm sorry. Here is your alert that you might have had some exposure. No, here's the thing. The gyms at Summer League this year, they were warm. They were hot. Yeah. So on Monday, I was like, I feel warm, but it's warm in here. Also outside, it was 117. So outside, I'm like, I feel kind of warm. Again, this is just basically a Monday. I'm like, I think I might be running a low grade fever, but also I was awake until 4 a.m. and it's 118 everywhere. That might be the reason.
Right.
And then my shoulder started feeling pretty sore, but I was sitting on the worst metal chair ever for 8 hours a day for multiple days in a row. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just sore because of basketball. So or just sitting in the gym. So all these things, I didn't really know if I was actually sick. And oh, my throat's sore. Was yeah, I've been in Vegas. I've been talking nonstop every day, and there's
1 hour into Summer League, and I sound like Doc Rivers.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I feel fine. Thanks for asking. No, I'm kidding. We've talked so much today.
We have talked.
We honestly, we might need a break. This is the most I've ever seen you in my entire life. And this show. All right. So this show, we have to talk about Summer League. There's so much stuff to talk about. I don't even know how to organize my thoughts. I don't know how we should go about it. I'll tell you right now.
Start with your flight home.
Yeah. So there's 3 main things that I feel like I have to talk about on this show.
Right.
Okay. 1, my journey home, unrelated to COVID. I did mask the whole day on Tuesday because I was just precautionary, because I woke up Tuesday feeling good. Again, Monday night, I went to bed early. I left the gym early. I slept a full 9 hours. I woke up Tuesday. I felt amazing. And I was just like, oh, I just needed sleep. This is great. But I still, I masked when I was traveling. I masked in the casino. I was just like, whatever. And just in case, precautionary. But anyways, 3 things we got to talk about. 1, my journey home. 2, the NBA Players Association used my name, Fast Break Breakfast, for an official event. And then 3, Alexander Sarr went 0 for 15 in a basketball game in Summer League and scored 0 points. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah. So spoiler alert to the award segment of the program. Those 3 things are the big ones I need to talk about. And then of course there's actual basketball, all the lottery picks played. I watched some of that. The Team USA just annihilated Serbia. I just watched that. So I don't know. I guess let's just start with breakfast. Let's get that out of the way.
Let's do it.
And then we'll punch things out. And then also, then there's any other observations you might have. Those are just my bullet points I have to hit. Anyways, breakfast, Dave. What's the best breakfast you had in Vegas? How about that? Did you have anything
I
great,
kind of
grand?
stick. I no, not really. I'm not. I don't know. I kind of stuck to the same breakfast every day.
Yeah.
Usually the 3 eggs, toast,
You got cut
protein,
steel cut
ham.
oats out of your van. What?
No, I didn't drive the van. I drove the Subaru.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, the AC. Look, the van is basically an oven, right? It has this huge front window, and it
Yeah.
has an air conditioner.
Yeah.
Theoretically, the air conditioner is good. I built it. It's good. It works well, but
Yeah.
it can't keep up with 117
Sure.
degrees. There's just no way. So the van gets parked for the summer usually.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I wish I'd had the van there because I could have brought more protein shakes. I ran out like 2 days in. But yeah, normally when I'm there, I have a protein shake and then I'll go and I'll eat like 3 eggs, toast, and bacon or something. And that's my standard.
Gotcha.
What about you? Did you go do a special breakfast?
I didn't really do any special breakfast. Before I get to my breakfast, though, you mentioned your van's AC can't keep up with the summer. Have you ridden in many Teslas? This is going to be an apolitical talk about Teslas.
I've only been like, my friend has one and I rode in it briefly, but otherwise only for Lyft or something like that.
So
I've been in them before.
I probably had something like 4 Tesla lifts while I was in Vegas. So
By the way, if this is going where I think it's going, I may have an answer to this.
Oh, I don't think it's going where I think it's going.
Oh.
Or maybe it is. But I set it up with the van AC's not keeping up. All right. So I rode in the back of like 3 or 4 Teslas during rideshare. All of these sedans had like a sunroof type thing, like a not closed roof. They were 150 degrees. It's like an oven on your head. And I was like looking up, I'm like, hey, can we close? Oh, you can't close this. This is just the thing. And I was like, this is horrible. I was like, there's an oven, because I'm 6'4". Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting in the back seat of this Tesla sedan, my head is like not that far from let's say 6 inches. 6 inches from like a thing that's hot to the touch. It's just emanating like this. It's like an oven. And I was like, I think I'm being broiled right now, and feels like a design flaw for someone in Las Vegas, but I don't know. Well, the driver had a little sunscreen, an extra sunscreen over him, but like blocking it.
Oh,
but I was like,
this feels like a market opportunity here, Keith.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Tesla has a better model where you can get something that like bats the heat, that has some of that insulation that keeps that reflects the sun somehow. I was like, there's no way this is okay. Because again, it's like, without exaggeration, it was anywhere between 114 and 118 while we were there.
Yeah.
And I'm taking this Lyft or Uber to the gym at like 1 or 2.
Well, it was hot. Some folks asked in the Slack about my walking. How did you keep up walking? I couldn't. First day I was there, I went out for a walk, and I even thought, oh, maybe I can jog. It's 8:30 in the morning. It was 105 degrees.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was just not.
Well, you can walk.
Doable. I walked indoors.
Yeah, there's a lot of indoor walking that can be accomplished.
Yeah. And I still walked about like 6 miles, 7 miles a day, but it wasn't,
I walked the least maybe I've ever done in Vegas. Maybe I'm just jaded, the whole experience of Summer League. Every other year, most years, I'm like, I'm just going casino to casino, people watching. Also, like, just see who I might run into. I might run into somebody I know. That's kind of fun. This year, I basically stayed at home base. I didn't really leave my casino that often. When I did, it was for a direct purpose. Like, I'm going to go meet Dave over here. I'm going to go meet Sean and Joey from Round Ball Rock over here. It was always very purposeful. So I don't know. About my breakfast. I didn't stray much with my breakfasts in Vegas. Normally I would just go down to the patisserie cafe in the Aria every morning and get a parfait. It's just a yogurt parfait and a coffee. I tried to order it many separate ways. None of them were convenient. So if you order it, so I ordered it to go the first, like I ordered it on my phone. I thought I was ordered a pickup. Yeah. The first day, the pickup line was not where I walked over, like, no, you go stand over there. I walked over there. It took a few minutes. So I'm like, that wasn't the fastest. Also, inconveniently, there was like no one in line. I'm like, oh, I just could have walked up. Would have been much faster. The next day, same thing. But this time they don't have my order. When I finally get someone, they're like, what's the order number? And I'm like, showing them an email. Look, I made the order. And it wasn't right. It took a very long time. Again, Parfait, nothing you have to make. Just hand it to me. Parfait and coffee took forever. The next day I stood in line, and then it was a long line. So I felt like there was no winning, which is fine. There weren't a lot of people, but every day parfait and coffee. Oh, I did kind of make a little bit of a stir on social media where I posted about my parfait and coffee. And this is my mistake. I had seen a tweet earlier about barbecue in Williamsburg. Yeah. And I thought this tweet had gone full viral. Because when I saw it, it was like 100,000 likes, 15 million impressions or something. And it was a picture. It was like, this is $163 of barbecue in Williamsburg, New York. And I was like, and so then I just posted my parfait and coffee and said, this is $163 of breakfast in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I had all these blue check Las Vegas people being like, no, it isn't. And and then it was like posted on Instagram from this like Las Vegas account and everything. And I was like, it was great. They're like, it is not. And they're like, oh, did you get
You're not welcome in this town anymore.
I'm not. Yeah. So
they're
a lot of people
you in the back.
I know, man. They're going to give me the hammer, the vice. Oh, it's going to be bad. All right. So those were
President started blaming Joe Biden.
Yeah. Oh, and then, man, I tried to leave. So even before.
Oh, yeah.
Let's save it. Speaking of Joe Biden, let's save it for my getting out of Vegas conversation. Because Biden was in Vegas when we left. Some roads were closed. Some ramps leading to and from my hotel shut down. Anyways, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfasts, we moved to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on a previous episode. It's frequently the first time we talk about basketball, which the show is supposed to be about. I will use this opportunity to begin talking about basketball. So just a tiny error. This is actually a Grits and Grinds overlap apology. On the episode of Grits and Grinds I recorded Tuesday morning before leaving town, I teased this very episode of Fast Break Breakfast. I was like, go listen to Fast Break Breakfast on Wednesday because I'm going to tell stories about my time in Vegas. I'm also going to talk about some of the players I've seen, give my impressions of the lottery picks. And I said, and Alexander Sarr, some people are down on him, but to me, he seemed absolutely fine. Little did I know while I was on a plane, Alex Sarr would play 30 minutes and go scoreless while missing all 15 of his field goal attempts. So I feel humiliated to have teased, hey, come listen to this other episode. It's good, I promise, with Alexander Sarr. I thought looked pretty good. No, he was very, very bad. Do you have, Dave, do you have any regrets? Any Vegas regrets? They say it's,
no, not really.
Didn't go hard enough. Yeah.
Went the adequate amount of hard.
Correct.
I did, this was the first time I actually had free time while I was there. So, it was good for me. I actually mostly enjoyed it. Was very happy to get home.
Yeah. So now let's take a quick break. And then I'm going to talk about basketball players, and then I'll fill everybody in about the adventurous trip home after that. All right, Dave. So in this Alexander Sarr versus Donovan Clingan game, which I actually watched when I got home because I didn't want to miss it. Clingan, who has not been that dominant or anything in these summer league games as well. Clingan does get some credit for blocking a lot of Sarr's shots, but also Sarr was just missing 3-pointers. It's like this guy was given the green light to they were like, hey man, just shoot. And so he's like, okay, fine. And he's clearly not ready to shoot. So I don't know what to do with it. My impression of Sarr through the first two games, which I classified as fine. The guy can block shots. We knew that. The guy likes to pass, or it felt like he's maybe always looking to pass, or just aware of passing, which is a good thing to have in a rim protecting big man. The downside outside of the bad shooting is he seems to only want jumpers. Did you get that idea that he wants to be LaMarcus Aldridge based on what I saw through three Summer League games?
I think he doesn't want to try to catch the ball inside.
Okay.
His hands are not great. Maybe here's my thing with 0 for 15.
Yeah.
And it's actually true.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't 0 for 8.
You're
Summer
going
League.
full Dion Waiters.
The game doesn't matter, man. Like your job while you're out there is to get those shots up. Like it actually is part of it. And if they're telling him to do it, great. He was 0 for 7 from 3. He's 7 feet tall. I'm okay. I'm all right. I just, the hot take reaction to Summer League, people are going to make fun of it, but I don't think we may think about it differently like midway through the season. I don't know how good he's going to be.
Yeah.
But clearly the guy is athletic and can block shots. That's valuable by itself. And like you mentioned, he's looking to pass. Makes me think that, okay, this guy down the road maybe becomes like pretty good pick and roll, like because he can maybe in the short roll find shooters in the corner just because he's already looking. And at Summer League, he shouldn't be. At Summer League, he should be going 0 for 20. So I actually don't have that big of a problem with it. So I think there's a little bit of a sign of confidence. He's clearly made some in practice.
So I think it's good to keep in mind there is very little correlation to Summer League performance and actual NBA success. I saw this thing, this guy, Matt Powers, who's like a NBA draft Twitter guy. He was saying statistically the biggest correlations from Summer League is things like blocks and offensive rebounds, assists, 3-point attempts, field goal attempts. Those things sometimes translate. And like one of those clearly blocks Sarr has. And again, it bears repeating, he's so young. He just turned 19. Some of the things that has the least correlation historically, when you look at the stats, are free throw percentage, 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, steals, and free throw attempts. So like those things, yeah, the shooting doesn't actually matter. Like free throw attempts in Summer League, if you actually watch the games, it makes sense. There was a game on Tuesday. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was a Sixers game. There was some game I was watching on a plane where it was something like 76 fouls were called and 76 free throws were shot. And it's just like, has very little utility in evaluating what these players are going to be. So for that, like, you don't have to worry about Sarr.
Yeah. I mean, blocks and rebounds are, we already know, like they translate across levels. Shooting, man, for young guys, I tend to look at their form. Mm-hmm. And if their form looks pretty good and they're willing shooters, it makes me know that they're successful in practice. That usually will translate, right? This is why I actually, Bronny James is an example. I think Bronny James is going to shoot. He's got a great jumper. I think that he just doesn't really have his legs. I think that when this guy, this time next year, when he's back at Summer League, I think he'll be a much more improved shooter, just by virtue of being in better condition. But yeah, a lot of these guys, my biggest takeaway from Summer League is, man, Summer League is rough for these guys. A lot of them just completely out of shape. And so like when these players, they play like a couple games and they get a little injury and the team gets to take them out of there, it's almost like a sigh of relief. Now,
the Steph Castle corollary where he plays one game, gets shut down.
Yeah, Zach Edey,
Zach's not shut down. He's coming back. Okay. Apparently. I don't know. Okay. The Grizzlies play later today. We'll see.
I mean, Team Canada should be on the phone with the Grizz right now. So.
Yeah, they got to work out some kind of transfer. The one drawback to Sarr outside of the shooting, by the way, Sarr for Summer League now, he's down to 19.5% from the field. I mean, an 0 for 15 is going to hurt. But he's 8 for 41 right now from the field. That includes 6 out of 24 on 2-pointers. So like he's not getting easy looks. Some of that is like guard play in Summer League. It's a lot of times bad. I mean, the teams that have good guards, they're dominating teams because like there's some teams that don't bring guards. And it's like, I don't know what you were hoping to develop here. Without a point guard. But the one thing in the first 2 games that I watched closely that I attended where Sarr played that I think did bother me was the rebounding. It seemed like he was not great at doing it. And that's also one of the bullet points I memorized about him in the draft, that he had very underwhelming rebounding numbers in Australia. And it's like, that seems like a poor, I don't know, a poor thing for someone you would take that high in the draft. And also, I guess when we're talking about the players, like, that you could have taken, there's immediate Summer League regret when you see like a guy like Reed Shepherd. Like, I'm not saying the Wizards front office is having that regret, but as far as fans in the arena, the most ready looking guy who showed up in Summer League, and I guess we could reemphasize, Summer League is maybe built for a guy like Reed Shepherd, where he can score off the dribble and he can just play the right way, get open looks. And like, I didn't mean to say play the right way with him being a white player, but I might edit that out. But
I might have a Reed Shepherd take for you.
What's your Reed Shepherd take?
Reminds me of Steve Francis.
Oh, but Steve Francis' shot was not that good.
It wasn't, but he shot it.
Yeah.
But he shot it. I don't know. Just, I think it's the stature, the athleticism. I wonder, and now I haven't seen him be as shifty as Steve Francis, but there's just something about like kind of the way he runs around, like good athlete. I don't know.
There's something
when I was watching him.
There's something about, and I don't know if this will maintain in the regular season, but he feels like a throwback player in the sense that like he keeps getting open from 16 feet and just rising up for like this little Mark Price jumper and swishing it. And, you know, mid-range is basically exited from the NBA outside of DeMar DeRozan, but he might actually shoot like 60% on those shots. Right. And so it's going to be like, oh, this guy can make those shots. It's going to be something special. And I was also really impressed with his passing. He had a couple of really great assists to his teammates. Also, the Rockets Summer League team is pretty good. I did not see much of his third game where Reed's stats were much worse shooting from the field. But his first two games, the guy was just astoundingly good. And then like the best player in Summer League, it's not maybe that exciting to talk about that I saw, and I didn't get to see every team play in person, but the best guy I saw was just Cam Whitmore. Again, Cam Whitmore, who won Summer League MVP last year after falling to 20th in the draft. Cam Whitmore is incredible. And
go back to back.
I hope they keep playing him so he can go back to back. He had like 5 just monster dunks in one of the games he was playing in. I joked when the Pistons and Rockets were matched up that like Ron Holland didn't play because they didn't want Ron Holland to be ended by Cam Whitmore. They're like, we don't need this young guy to have to face Cam Whitmore in his second professional game. Like, let's just chill, or his second NBA level game. Of course, he was paid for being on G League Ignite. But Cam Whitmore, that guy is wild. And I was asking one of our Patreon supporters, David, who's a Rockets fan. I was just asking him watching the Rockets game, like, who's your top 7 for the Rockets next year? Or like, who's your favorite starting lineup? Or who do you even want to close games? And they have so many like kind of cool players where like, I think the Rockets, they're just an interesting team where it's like, I don't even know what their best 5 is. Like, I think most fans would put Dylan Brooks off the court, but like with Şengün and Jabari Smith Jr. and with Cam Whitmore, with Amen Thompson, with Reed Shepherd, with Fred VanVleet. They just have dudes. Tari Eason. They just have guys like you keep on going. Steven Adams, who, by the way, if he's healthy, is amazing. Like they have so many different ways they can play. And if Reed, is ready to help day one, which it seems like he could, I feel like if I am going to get carried away about any Summer League team, it is maybe the Rockets, thinking like, oh, they might actually be ready to compete now in the West.
I'm not there yet.
When I say compete, it's like,
well, they competed last
year. There's this club from like 3 to 12, or something. And I think they could be in it.
I think they could be in. They're going to be in the play-in mix again.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting about them, like you just said, they've got a lot of guys, man. They are a team that could be a reset trade or candidate for a bunch of teams. You have a disgruntled star, like maybe you have an aging star who's.
Yeah, I accidentally didn't even say Jalen Green. Like
they've just got guys that can play. The Şengün stuff is still interesting. Remember how they went on that run after he got injured? Their defense, kind of go through the roof.
But also March, April basketball is not real.
It's not real.
Yeah. They're the team. I made fun of them for their trade with the Nets when there was this rumors of like, we got the Suns picks so we could chase Kevin Durant. I like mocked that, but now I'm thinking like, if you're the Suns and let's say you're 22-20, like in January or something, it's like You're not going to trade Kevin Durant for like Şengün and Jalen Green?
I don't think they will.
Or you're not going to trade Kevin Durant for like Şengün and Dylan Brooks? And a bunch of picks?
I think these trades are going to have to be overwhelming. I think they're going to have to give up a lot because when you look at what happened with Dallas last year at the trade deadline, there are going to be a lot of buyers who are just kind of hanging around in that 5 to 6 range who think, hey, you know what? Look, there are ways that we can just plug a couple guys in and fix these problems. So I think trades are going to get a little bit more difficult.
What if you
obviously?
But what if Fertitta says we're going for it? Like, what if they put all that stuff in there? Well, I mean, if you're, I don't know what the pick thing would be. If you give the Suns back, what is it, like 3 picks? You give the Suns their 3 picks back, and then give them another pick, and also give them Şengün and Dylan Brooks, or give them like maybe you give them Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. Like, you get Kevin Durant, and Steven Adams back together. You a little reunion there, and then you got like, I mean, Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, Amen Thompson. I mean, Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepherd. That team might be amazing.
Then Devin Booker goes to the Suns and says, trade me.
Devin knows it's his team. He knows what's up. I don't feel like that's a bad that for me, that's extending Devin Booker. You pitch it to Devin Booker. We've extended your window for winning. What's the plan now? We don't believe in the draft, first of all, so maybe they wouldn't want their picks back. But like Kevin Durant,
you already got 2 stars, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal.
You got Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Yusuf Nurkic. Okay, which one of those guys is going to be good when like you're 30, Devin?
Right.
So maybe pitch it to him that way. But yeah, I think I drank the Kool-Aid on the Rockets just seeing Reed Shepherd play. Zachary Risacher. All right, number 1 overall pick. He was a mystery man to me just because I hadn't seen him play basketball. Did you get a chance to see Risacher play at all?
I did not at all.
So
I mean, I've seen him, but I didn't see him at Summer League.
The one thing that surprised me based on the little draft scouting videos I watched and all the analysis I like either read or listened to is Risacher seemed comfortable with the basketball in his hands. And so for me, again, immediate snap reaction to seeing him play basketball for the first time, that let me kind of understand the Hawks' vision of, oh, a guy with that size, because he looked pretty big, a guy with that size, like I thought he was supposed to be just like a 3-and-D, glorified 3-and-D type player, but he seemed comfortable with the ball in his hands. So thus you think, okay, I get it. Prototypical larger wing player. That's what everyone's going towards. So at the very least, my immediate reaction was, all right, I get it. Another guy who was huge was Tejan Salon, who like, you read about these people and it's like, you read their weaknesses and whatever. And then there's people you see. I mean, this was no Paolo Banchero the year before, right? Where it was like, that man's bigger than everyone here. Why did no one tell me?
You know what?
2 years ago,
that was me at Team USA mini camp, like in, I don't know, what was that, 2019 when he was 15. I was like, oh, who's that? That kid's he's going to be the first high schooler drafted, was my thought.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The 2022 Summer League was the whole summer, leading after that draft had been like Paolo or Jabari. And then when they showed up in Summer League, it was like, Paolo looks like he could pick up Jabari and throw him the length of the court. Like Paolo is one of the biggest guys I've ever seen, or something. Like it was kind of mind blowing. But Salon, his size too was like super impressive. Where like I think in my head like more of a developmental guy, and probably the skills are very, very raw with him. But just seeing his physicality and size, I found that enticing too. Like my takeaway from Summer League, up until Sarr missed 15 shots while I was sitting on a plane. Yeah. Every lottery pick I saw was like, yeah, okay. Like I'm not upset by any of it. I kind of saw the vision with all of them.
They're basketball players.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things also where like everyone talks about the draft being weaker. That was like the whole common narrative about this draft. Like, I mean, maybe there's no superstar, but like every player just seemed pretty good. Meanwhile, you had a lot of like 2nd and 3rd year guys where you're like, nope, that guy still sucks. And it's like, but so I felt like this was a pretty good showing.
What about
this draft class?
Carlo Matkovic?
Dude,
The Pelicans
the
have
Pelicans guy
their
went nuts.
center. The Pelicans have their center. I've been like thinking they're gonna have to trade Brandon Ingram. That guy can hoop.
Where's he from? He wasn't in this year's draft, was he?
No, he was a 2022 guy. Actually, it's funny because I was trying to pull up his summer league stats. I wanted to see he was
Yeah.
a 52nd pick in 2022. So I was trying to figure out what he has done at summer league. Why? Because I've seen only all of his highlights. I haven't actually seen a box score, which is hard to find as it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if Real GM has his stuff pulled up. Yeah, he absolutely outplayed Eves Missy from what I saw. Let's see. They have him down at, yeah, he's crushing. 65% from the field in 3 games. Where's his points at? Yeah, averaging 14 points a game. Not many rebounds. Only, I'm doing this math. 5.6 rebounds per game. A lot of blocks though, 2 blocks per game, steal per game. Yeah, no, he was super impressive. Like Eves Missy, not so much. Jordan Hawkins is not having a very good summer league so far. Jordan Hawkins, I think you expect a lot out of him because he showed serious flashes in the regular season last year. He's only 14 for 48 from the field overall in summer league. I will say, if there was maybe a slight disappointment of any lottery player that I saw, it was Ron Holland, who I got a little bit high on. I was super interested in him before the draft. My initial negative impression before I even like turned around on him, like this is talking pre-summer league. The first time I watched highlights, I'm like, oh, he seems like Josh Jackson. But then like I heard all the stuff about his motor and I watched some more clips. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like if it's a Josh Jackson with a crazy motor, yeah, let's go. But then watching him in summer league, it was like, nope, looks like Josh Jackson. Yeah, like was not very good. Seemed super raw. He got a dunk block from behind. That might have been the first time that's ever happened to him. The one-on-one showdown, I caught a little bit of it between him and Modest Buzelis. Buzelis, who called him out basically during the draft. They were teammates in the G League. Buzelis saying, I'm better than Ron Holland. This is ridiculous. Buzelis looked better. Buzelis loves dunking the basketball. I don't know if anyone loves dunking more than this guy. Like he's also huge. I feel like the Bulls, as much as we want to kind of like crap on some stuff they've done this offseason, like that might be a great selection for them.
Yeah, if he shoots, that's the big question mark. Though, he's a guy that I think will.
Yeah. Let's run through a few more of these first round picks. If you see any guys that you want to say anything about, I would say Klingon. We didn't mention him.
Ooh.
He's going, in my mind, I mean, he's huge. He's going to look better when he plays with guards who can actually pass and dribble. The finishing isn't really there. Like, I mean, honestly, like a total 0 on offense. You assume eventually he's going to like screen for people and be more positive there. But defensively, of course, just gigantic, did enough. It seemed like he was super worn out, but you were just telling me everyone's in kind of
everybody's out of shape. I mean, if you just think about what time of year it is basketball wise, right?
Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, and then all of these guys are about to go into the summer. So they'll be playing, but it's not game shape. So they look pretty rough in those games.
I did not see Dillingham play, so I didn't see the Timberwolves.
A little bit. I saw a little bit of Timberwolves. Dillingham, to me, it's a funny thing to say about a guy playing at summer league, for the first time. He was a little small out there, and not just in size. He didn't show up a lot. You know what I mean? He kind of didn't touch the ball for a couple minutes, on offense, stuff like that. And meanwhile, I thought Terrence Shannon Jr. looked pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. That he seemed like a big dude, very ready for the physicality of the NBA.
And can be on the ball.
Yeah.
Watched him get to the basket pretty easily. He was aggressive in transition. He's doing all the stuff. Like if you got a guy who's 6'6" and can handle, he's doing everything you want him to do.
Yep. So I'm just going to say a few more names of guys that I saw, and then I got to tell you, listeners, all about the Fast Break Breakfast trademark infringement by the Players Association. I thought Tristan da Silva looks pretty good. I thought the Magic actually looked really good as a team. Jet Howard played really, really well. The one game I sat and watched all of their game, he was quite good. Bub Carrington for the Wizards. All right. That guy seems like he's a baller.
He's a player.
Maybe he's just perfectly cut for summer league, like it's actually the right environment for him, but he looks really, really good. Khalil Ware from Miami. I mean, you figure he'll slot right into like a backup center role with Bam. By the way, Bam just roasted Serbia this Team USA game. Serbia was doing great in the first half. Jokic was like being incredible, but the Team USA's like Bam and AD lineups are so good. Bam had a monster game. Steph crushed people. Yeah.
If Serbia had Steph Curry, it's a different game.
If Serbia had a single guard, Serbia's guards had nothing in this game. Some part of me thought they did.
Serbia had Mike James.
Yes. Any of the Mike Jameses. The Toronto Raptors Mike James, the Suns Mike James.
Monaco Mike James.
There you go. The Serbia might have done the thing that I feel like maybe some European teams do in these competitions, which is not show anything. Like just shut it down, pack it in. Like they played a great first half. They were ahead for most of it. Then Team USA went on a run because Steph was unstoppable. And AD and Bam were great. LeBron was great. And they built this like 10-point lead at halftime. And then when it started slipping away, I felt like the Serbia was like, all right, we're not going to show any strategy whatsoever. We're going to play vanilla and we're just going to get licked in this one. No, but Khalil Ware, I think, could slot in immediately, play some serious minutes on the Heat. He looks very good as a specific.
I mean, they don't have any players, so
I mean, it's him or Thomas Bryant, Kevin Love. Right. Like, I think he's going to play. He's going to block shots, and he seems so comfortable with his size, knowing that I'm 7 feet tall. I can turn, like he would turn around and score from like 4 or 5 feet away in a manner that was so relaxed. It made me think, why doesn't every 7-footer do that? It was just like, oh yeah, I'm taller than you. I'm just going to take my time and shoot this. I mean, maybe it will work in the NBA. Maybe there's a little bit more speed and size where they just reject all his shots. But in summer league, it seemed like he could score every time he got the ball. I think he's going to fit in nicely. Dalton Connect scored a lot, but I was kind of iffy on like, I don't know.
Older guys tend to do well at summer league.
Yeah, he's the same age as Jake LaRavia. So Jake LaRavia looks really good. And beyond that, I mean, I don't have anything really I need to say. I don't think about anybody else because I'm still like catching up on now that I'm home, I'm actually going to try to watch more of these games. You can only normally at Summer League, at least in years past, you could easily walk back and forth between each gym, just like double up the amount of basketball content. It was so crowded this year that essentially you had to pick your gym where like getting between the gyms was very difficult through the first like 3 or 4 days. Like it started to clear out a little bit on Monday, but it was rough. The first like Friday, Saturday, Sunday was really hard going between gyms. So I didn't get to see as many players in person as I would have liked. But Dave, the NBA Players Association had this thing at Summer League called the Brotherhood Deli. And they announced on Twitter, like 2 days before Summer League, like, hey, join Fast Break Breakfast this Friday at the Brotherhood Deli. And they were not talking about me. And I didn't know what my recourse was, if any, or if I should do anything. I mean, listen, I think McDonald's still actually owns the trademark to Fast Break Breakfast. That's what they called the Egg McMuffin, apparently back in the early 80s. They quickly shifted it to the Egg McMuffin. But when it comes to NBA things, I think I'm fairly established.
Kind of got it.
With a 10-year running podcast and a social media accounts that have like, this is Fast Break Breakfast when it comes to the NBA. At the very least, I would feel you're confusing a significant percentage of fans who are at least aware of it. But anyways, what am I going to do? Am I going to email them and be like, hey, am I going to like pay my lawyer $400 to write a letter? That seems dumb. But because again, I'm not being harmed, but I thought it was odd. So what do? Well, I go to the Brotherhood Deli during the Fast Break Breakfast appearance. It's Fast Break Breakfast plus Ghetto Gastro, which is actually they're these Pop-Tarts made by the NBA Players Association. They're fancy Pop-Tarts from Kyrie Irving, Anthony Edwards, and Jaylen Brown. They had those there. They also had these cereal boxes like fake cereal boxes. The Pop-Tarts were real, Dave.
Yeah.
Like the cereal boxes were fake. It was like a Kauai cereal box. It was just, they're just decorating the deli. But their actual Pop-Tarts, were they good? They tasted like Pop-Tarts, which is, is that good or bad? What's weird is I feel like Pop-Tarts have a unique flavor that I can't put my finger on. Like, what is this thing? Yeah. What is this chalk flavor that's the like unique identifying feature of a Pop-Tart? Well, the Ghetto Gastro guys figured it out. It's the same chalk flavor. I don't know.
It's a Pop-Tart in a different wrapper, Keith.
Right. But apparently Kyrie's was from all like plant ingredients or something.
Sure.
But sure. Anyways, to get into this, you have to register. So I walk up and they're like, did you register? I'm like, no. But they asked me if I had a Chase Freedom card. I was like, well, yes, I do actually. So I showed them my Chase Freedom card. So then they let me in. They're like, go see that lady in the blue pants over there. The lady gives me a big bag and a t-shirt and all this like swag, this Chase Freedom swag of the NBA Players Association deli. But anyways, they're handing out these Pop-Tarts. There's a table of them handing out Pop-Tarts. There's like these baskets of stuff. There's some drinks they're giving away. They're giving away Sprite, not Starry. I thought that was confusing. But so what do? Since this is Fast Break Breakfast. And also, by the way, I ran into a listener there. So that was cool. But they weren't confused. So maybe it didn't matter. Okay. But I did run into a listener there. They were excited to see me. I gave them a Vince Williams Jr. rookie card, like I did to anyone who said hi to me at Summer League. But I took my Fast Break Breakfast stickers, Dave, and I laid them out on the counter with the Pop-Tarts. So now there's all these orange Fast Break Breakfast stickers all over the place, and people just scooped them all up. While I was there, it was great. So I felt like mission accomplished, no harm, no foul. You use my name. I'll hand out some stickers.
We got to get stickers with a QR code.
Yeah. They look ugly, though. I don't mind. Listen, when those people Google Fast Break Breakfast, I'm the only result. Ghetto Gastro's not coming up.
Do you think they're going to go home and Google?
Do people do that anymore? Breakfast? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. They don't know. It doesn't say podcast on it anywhere.
No.
Right?
Why would it?
So they're thinking, wow,
I would have missed
this pop-up event had these very elaborate logo stickers made that actually don't match the rest of the art.
I am super excited like, for them being confused for the rest of their lives. Yeah.
The Nike City jerseys. Basically the same relation.
By the way, we have breaking news. Chris Middleton has had surgery on both ankles.
What?
That seems not ideal. Arthroscopic surgery on both ankles this offseason. But he's expected to be ready.
Classic cleaning up of the loose bodies.
We also had a Kyrie Irving broken hand surgery.
That left hand is the hand. That's the one that he shoots that little.
Those are his game winners on
floater, man. So not a great summer league week.
Yeah,
for injury stuff, but this is the time to leak those. Nobody's paying attention.
I still feel like here's something I was thinking of, trying to think of Brandon Ingram trades, because Brandon Ingram is the guy out there who doesn't really have a spot right now. And I was talking with Christian Clark, who covers the Pelicans, about like what's going on there and what are some trade options, because nothing makes sense in my head. The one team that I was coming up with was the Bucks. Like, the Bucks, you got Middleton with his injury concerns. I feel like the Pelicans are hitting the situation where they're almost would be willing to trade Brandon Ingram for anything, just to get off of it. Maybe get some useful players, because they're worried they're not going to pay him and he might go somewhere else. Right. So I was pitching Brandon Ingram for like Chris Middleton and maybe Bobby Portis. And the idea for the Bucks, obviously, Middleton is beloved there, but just Ingram is so much younger that it seems like maybe Dame plus Giannis plus Brandon Ingram might have a little bit more sustainability. I don't know if you would be willing to bet on Ingram. Like, the problem with Ingram, of course, no one loves the fit anywhere, but I do feel like it seems less harmful to me. And if you do Giannis at the 5 and Ingram at the 4, that kind of works. I mean, I know the ideal trade, I think from the Pelicans perspective, they would love to do Ingram for like Brook Lopez, Right. But I don't know if the Bucks are going to do that. I think
you would need a third team to take Middleton. I also don't really like the Ingram. I don't think the Ingram fit with Giannis and Lillard is one that you can just say, oh, they'll figure it out. It's Ingram is not I don't think he could be the third guy out there with those two. He really needs to have the ball in his hands to be effective. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a little bit like Chris Middleton.
Well, the one reason I feel like it would work, and again, this is just a kind of lowering the age of your third guy beside Dame and Giannis. The idea being that you could actually put the ball in his hand a good bit, and he can facilitate to Giannis. Dame, of course, can score with the ball or without the ball. Like, he can play off the ball and catch and shoot. So like, it sort of makes sense to me. But again, we're talking about like two teams that maybe just want to risk something, just to try something. Right. Less of a risk for the Pelicans because they might lose Ingram for nothing in a year. And for the Bucks, it's just like, what are we doing? Or are we just running it back and hoping next year is the year because like they don't have that ideal of a future outside of having Giannis? But I don't know. There might just Ingram might just be the guy without a home this offseason. Maybe. Anyways, let's take a quick break, and then we'll return with a incredible listener submitted question.
Any questions?
All right, Dave, it's now time for the croissant questioner. We have two questions this week. One of them, I think, is an amazing Grizzlies question. We'll do that one.
The other one's awful.
No, the other question is good too. That's from Patrick. He asks, is it going to be awkward in the Knicks locker room that Anunoby got all his money and Jalen Brunson and potentially Mikal Bridges are leaving money on the table?
No.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Explain. Because
I'm assuming that everybody's in on whatever is happening to make up for the money for Jalen Brunson. I mean, like, did Rick Brunson get a raise?
He gets, do Rick Brunson and Jalen have shared bank accounts?
Yeah. Also, Jalen didn't give up all that much. It really is not that much in aggregate. And he set himself up like that last year is kind of fake where he can go into free agency. He can get the big payday, but he's a small guard, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So can he avoid injury and stay healthy, and will the Knicks take care of him? I know a lot of people are kind of playing that angle, but I think that at this point it's pretty clear, like what is happening there as far as CAA and their clients and the Knicks. I think that Jalen Brunson's probably going to be fine.
Yes. I think Jalen Brunson's going to be fine.
I mean, he's objectively going to be fine because he's already making a lot of money.
To further clarify what you're saying, if anyone doesn't understand, yes, Jalen Brunson signed an extension for like $100 million less than he could have. But when you look at the aggregate of what the next contract he can sign when he opts out of that third year, if you look at the projected no injury, what is it, 7-year plan?
Yeah,
it's gonna be the same.
Well, the thing that, again, it's another case where people are forgetting about all these salary cap jumps. And so if you are a free agent right now, you were actually locking yourself in at a discount.
Yep.
So if you're signing an extension, it's a discount because of the cap. The cap is going to go up every year.
Now we also, but you also, do we not need to factor in interest that he could be making on that money if he got more money now? Because there's inflation. Sure. That bigger money 7 years from now is actually way less valuable than this money right now.
Yeah, sure. Maybe
that's good podcasting right there.
That is good podcasting. Yes, people love
financial minutia. We need
listen,
the cap sheets on Spot Track need to have inflation comparisons built in.
We're going to break down how much Derek Jones gave up to make $1 extra $1 million a year playing for the Clippers.
In 2005, I charged $30 a half hour for piano lesson. That's $45 now. Just going by 3% a year raises. Saying 45 a half hour. Excuse me. I don't want to give anybody
45 a half hour. Whoa.
45 a half hour. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. We're not giving this away. Anyways, it's not going to be awkward because Jalen, again, he's going to be taken care of. He's going to get that money back. And also, I feel like, do they just share, like, who pays for what? When they're all on a team dinner, do the Villanova guys all like have their own checking account together? Does Anunoby feel like he has to pay
Can Villanova give them money? Like, could they be like NIL athletes, like postgraduate NIL?
They really
Is
should.
that
I was wondering about this because I saw a lot of like I saw a lot of there were some WNBA, people who came to Summer League. They always do. And then a lot of the NBA players go to like WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces games. I assume any socialization, not in a chivalrous way, but in a rich person way. I mean, the NBA guys, they're always paying for everything, right? You can't, like, with the money they're making, even if the WNBA got their new TV deal is increasing, 4 times, but still,
listen,
like,
I'm assuming, I just say this. Once you get to a certain amount of money, you don't really pay for stuff anymore. Like, the people who need free stuff don't get it.
That's true.
Right?
I see Josh Hart getting free Mike and Ike's, and it makes my blood boil.
Does the Super Bowl winning quarterback need a free car? No.
Yeah.
Give that to a guy in the stands.
Mikal Bridges got his Chipotle for life card. Just free Chipotle.
Kawhi Leonard had a Wingstop for life card.
But are the WNBA players reaping all these benefits? Because they need to be.
Probably. Well,
it's harder.
It's coming. It's coming.
I mean, I would hope the Las Vegas Aces players, like, again, I don't, what was the results of that thing where the city of Las Vegas tourism was like paying them all extra
sponsorships? Yeah. Circumventing the salary cap in unique and creative ways. I mean, this is, it's all a whole new world. And they're doing all this at a time where people, I would say, have the worst idea of what money is. So a lot of the NBA, like the other sports, they have the benefit of having come up under some kind of normality where the lines were, if they weren't drawn in pen, they were at least in pencil and not as blurry. And now it's just like, there are no lines. And so I don't know how this whole situation works out. I mean, if the NBA really wanted to investigate circumventing its own salary cap, I do not think it would be difficult for them to do, figure this out. So I don't really care outside of pretending like this matters to the rules of the sport. Yeah. I kind of wish there was no salary cap just to see what would happen.
Dave, I have a question about chivalry.
Okay.
I thought about this on an elevator in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Typically, you and I are about the same age. We were from, like hold the door for women always.
Oh yeah.
Let them in and off the thing first. But I feel like you let them off the elevator first, except I feel like there's this exception. If you're in a hotel and you're in the elevator on the same floor with a woman,
I get off first.
You get off first.
Yep.
Because you don't want this creepy beard guy walking behind you.
Nope.
So it's like you get off first, so you don't have to be walking behind the lady. And so like that was the one where I'm like, I'm getting off first. It was a city, like if I was in the back of, if I was in the back of the elevator, she was in the front, it would have been weirder if I'd been like, but we were kind of side by side. I'm like, you know what? I'm going first. Cause she's like, who's this loser?
Right.
Yeah. So that's the only, okay. We're in agreement. Yeah. Here's a question from Dave. Not you. This is Dave, parentheses guy from the Patreon. Here's this question. If you had the Grizzlies Summer League lineup with Edie play against every Grizzlies starting lineup from last season, how many games would this year's Summer League squad be favored in? Now, Dave, you don't have this information in front of you.
No.
But I do. This is one of my favorite questions we've ever got. I have pulled up the Grizzlies starting lineups from last season, and I'm going to throw some Grizzlies starting lineups from last season at you, and you tell me if the Grizzlies Summer League squad would be favored. This is the Grizzlies Summer League squad.
All right, yeah.
Scottie Pippen Jr., Cam Spencer, Gigi Jackson, Jake LaRavia, Zach Edey.
Okay.
All right. Would they be favored over this starting lineup? Scottie Pippen Jr., Jordan Goodwin, Gigi Jackson, Jake LaRavia, Trey Jemison.
Yes.
Absolutely. That lineup went 1-2 last season somehow. Would they be favored over Jacob Gilyard, Luke Kennard, David Roddy, Gigi Jackson, Trey Jemison?
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. Would they be, here's another one. All right. I'm just going to start throwing, these are ones they would be favored over. What about, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jordan Goodwin, Gigi Jackson, Malzinha Pereira, and Trey Jemison.
Yeah. So.
That one went 0-1. Here's one with Jaron. This one has Jaron, okay?
Okay.
Jacob Gilliard, Jaron, Vince Williams Jr., John Conchar, David Roddy.
That's close.
I think the a Conchar and a Vince Williams and a Jaron, you got to go for that one. By the way, that starting lineup was 1-0 last year. What about Scottie Pippen Jr., John Conchar, Luke Kennard, Gigi Jackson, Trey Jemison?
No.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Summer League.
Summer League wins that one. All right, how about Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose, David Roddy, Vince Williams, Jaren Jackson, Bismack Biyombo.
Oh, always take the Biz.
Okay, that one. I mean, Vince and Jaren together is pretty amazing. I'm taking. Here's a Vince one. I'm not taking. Luke Kennard, Vince Williams, John Conchar, Aldama Jemison. Yeah, I guess I'll go with the regular.
Yeah.
All right. So I've counted these up. I didn't say every single one, but I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. I'm saying 14 games the Grizzlies Summer League squad would be favored, which is not bad. How about this one, Dave? This lineup went 0-5 last year for the Grizzlies. Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zaire Williams, and Xavier Tillman. Why did that lineup go 0-5?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, but anyways, that's a great question, Dave. The Grizzlies Summer League squad this year with Zach Edey would have been favored. I'm saying 14 times against the Memphis Grizzlies regular season squad from last year.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for the questions, everybody. If you want your questions answered on air, or if you want to join our Slack channel, or if you want to play fantasy basketball with me and other listeners when the time comes, you have to be a Patreon supporter. Do all that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, Dave. I started feeling bad on Monday night, like I said. Because of that, I left the gym a little bit early, and I decided I maybe wanted to leave town a little bit early. My flight was on Tuesday. My flight was at 4:45 on Tuesday. I figured I would go to the airport early, see if I could fly standby, maybe get lucky. I didn't want to change it online because it was $400 to change the flight. No one wants to do that. Anyways, I recorded an episode of Grits and Grinds on Tuesday morning. Cut it kind of close. I wanted to upload that to YouTube before I got to the airport. I wasn't sure what kind of upload speeds we were talking about at McCarran. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah.
I've uploaded a pod from there.
There you go. You were fun. I got to say, so you were, again, we hung out a lot this week and it was different than other summer leagues because normally you're very busy at summer league. This was the least busy you've ever been at summer league, but you still every now and then were like at the gym editing podcasts. Like you were watching the basketball, but you actually had to be editing a podcast on your computer. So anyways, I finished editing this podcast. I upload it. I had to check out of my room at 11. The early flight I'm trying to make is 12:55. That's this direct flight to Nashville. I'm hoping I can fly standby on. I upload the podcast, get it all done. YouTube says it's processing, so I'm good to go at close to noon, 11:50, 11:40, around there. My experience at the Vegas airport, security extremely fast. So I'm like, I might be good. So I go out, I hail a cab because I don't want to wait for the lift is a mystery. It might be 1 minute, it might be 20, who knows? I hail a cab, but here's the thing. All the ramps are closed because Joe Biden is in town, which I didn't know that was a situation. I'm talking to the cab stand guy. I'm like, are there any roads out of here? And he's like, yeah, we could probably take it on this alley this way. Like get down on Frank Sinatra Boulevard and all this stuff. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's try it. So I get in the cab and I'm like, can you get me out of here? He's like, oh, I'll get you out of here. We run into so many roadblocks because there's just like, motorcycle cop and SUV cop blocking every road because Biden's here. We have to cut through all this, we're cutting through all the various casinos. He gets me there. It takes a solid 25 minutes, but it's like 12:20 or 12:10. And I'm like, if there's a line at security getting before the 12:25 flight, who knows? But it works out.
You got pre-check?
No, I don't have pre-check. No. I don't fly enough.
Okay,
but anyways,
okay.
I get to the gate at like 12:30 12:35, 12:40. I'm ecstatic because I'm like, hopefully this is enough. You know, they're all lined up, they're boarding, and I get on the standby list. They say it's a full flight, but we'll see. They eventually they have a spot for me. So I'm like pumping my fist. I'm like, yes, I made it. I'm going to get home in time to see my kids. This is like brilliant to me. I'm so excited. I'm going to get home at 6:30. My previous flight was going to land at 10:30. I get on the thing. I have too many bags for Southwest. They're like, we're going to have to check one of these bags, which is very annoying. Cause then you got to go to bag claim. Anyways, I get on the plane at the very end. They're like, hey, we actually put your bag in here. There was room. So I'm just like, everything is coming up, Keith. Everything is going my way. Also, Dave, you don't know this. When I was out on Sunday night on Fremont Street,
yeah,
I won $650 on a Goonies slot machine. $1 at a time.
Wow.
Won $650.
What was the investment?
I put in 50, walked away. I got it up to 700, walked away at 650. And it was funny because a couple of times when I got up to 300, it was our buddies. They're like, let's go, dude. You won. I'm like, no, let's take it to 0. And then finally I got down to like 200 and I was like 3 more. And then on the third one, I won huge. But it was funny. So I'm like, man, I've been so lucky, like everything coming up, Keith. And then I'm getting on the flight. And also like, I thought I dodged the illness because I woke up Tuesday feeling so good. Anyways, we get on this flight and the lady to my right on the plane just gets up and goes to the bathroom. No big deal. She doesn't come back for like a while. And I'm thinking it got to be the point because like I've unbuckled my seatbelt and I'm thinking, is she coming back? Because should I get comfortable? I'm in the middle. She's on the window seat. At some point, I'm like, should I actually ask someone if this person's okay? Well, like 5 minutes later, a flight attendant comes up and is like, hey, was there a lady sitting here? I'm like, yes. I'm like, she went to the bathroom, never came back. And he's like, yeah, can you give me all her stuff? So I'm like, well, that seems horrible. Then they announce very unclearly because the pilot, indecipherable. No one could ever understand what this guy's saying. But all he says like, landed the plane now. We were like, what? So we start descending and we're landing and he said something like blah, 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 emergency blah, 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 landing, and we're like, what? Because again, I was like, I feel like
you probably have more information than anyone else.
I honestly felt like I did.
You were the Rock when they killed Bin Laden.
I hate flying. First of all, I dislike it a lot. I'm scared when I fly. Never liked it. But anyways, I think I might have been the most calm person because I was like, I think the lady beside me has had a medical emergency and that's why we're landing. But I wasn't 100% confident that it wasn't a plane issue. But finally, like we're going, like everyone is not like scared. It was not a panic, but people were like, what's going on? We're landing in New Mexico. And honestly, I took vibes from the rest of the people. And even with my additional information, like, all right, I think it's a medical thing and we're okay. Hopefully this lady's okay. This was a young lady, like in her 20s or something. So it was weird. But anyways, finally a flight attendant announces we're making a medical landing. And so I don't know what happened. The lady was conscious when she was taking her wheelchair off the plane. But anyways, we land in Albuquerque. And it turns out, and this is not clear for a while, we end up sitting in Albuquerque for 3 hours. And the whole time I'm thinking, I just want this plane to take off from Albuquerque before my original flight. If we could get in the air before 4:45 Pacific, I would just feel much better. Otherwise, I would feel pretty upset. I mean, obviously, hope the lady's okay. No issue with the plane landing. Let's land the plane. They told us that she got to the hospital and they think she's going to be okay. They didn't tell us what it was or anything. So that's still a mystery. But anyways, we're on this runway in Albuquerque, and they say, again, the pilot's indecipherable. He'll come on 5 to 10 minutes. And we're all looking around like, what is he saying? And then he's like, runway's too short. And we're like, what is happening? Turns out, and again, they read us. I guess Southwest has to, probably all airlines, they have to do the safety thing every time you take off. So they give us the whole safety spiel.
Yeah.
They give it to us, like after we've been sitting there for an hour, nothing happens. Then an hour later, they're like, hey, buckle back up. We're going again. They give us the safety spiel again. Nothing happens. At this point, they say, hey, you can get off here if you want. And I'm like, that seems bad. But they're like, listen, you could try to get off here in Albuquerque and fly wherever you're going, but there's no guarantee there's anything. We're going to try to get here as soon as we can. What eventually happens, we take off 3 hours and 10, 15 minutes after being on the ground. What happened was, because finally some flight attendant came over clearly, the runway available to us was in fact too short. And we were only allowed to take off if the winds were at our back. So we sat there for 3 hours, Dave, waiting for the winds to shift. Which again, I'm scared of flying. I was like, I don't like that at all.
It's 2024.
So I had just watched the movie Airplane from 1977, where there's it's like running an airport, not Airplane, the famous, not the comedy Airplane, the melodrama Airport. So I was somewhat sympathetic, but I was like, the idea of the only runway we can use is too short. So we have to wait for a southerly wind. I was like, I hate this. So anyways, Dave, we take off.
So that plane never qualifying for the Olympics.
Yeah. So we take off well after my original flight would have taken off, but we're an hour closer to Nashville. My first flight was supposed to land at 10:30. We landed in Nashville at 10:20. So I guess it worked out. I got there 10 minutes before. Maybe
you had
I would
an adventure. I mean, that's fun. You got a great story.
Now I got a COVID cough.
Yeah, actually you got a couple of good stories. You got the tailwind story.
Story.
That's actually the real story of the story.
Yeah, it was funny because I was texting my wife and I'm like, hey, the lady beside me went to the bathroom and never came back. And then I texted her, hey, we're landing because of a medical emergency. So I think it was my person. Then she was like, I'm sorry you're sitting there for so long. Are you in a middle seat? I was like, I was, but I took the hurt lady seat. I moved over to her seat. So I had a window seat so I could stretch out. It wasn't.
Well, she wasn't using it.
Anyways, she wasn't using it. Hope she's okay. Dave, the award segment of the program is the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award. Here's terrible news. I haven't had the opportunity to comb through all the stats like I would like to, because as you know, for the regular season, I can just go to StatHead. I can filter the things I want and see the worst shooters of the week. For Summer League, there's no way to do that. I have to manually go through each box score. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you at some point I'm going to do it. I want to know. But conveniently, there's no chance anyone had a worse game than Alexander Sarr. So we can just say, congratulations, Alexander Sarr. He has to be, Dave. He has to be the first ever top 5 pick to play 30 minutes, shoot 15 times, and not score a point in Summer League. There's no way that's ever happened before. I mean, maybe someone,
definitely not.
Even if I remove top 5 pick from that,
right?
It's possible that has never happened, but it's spectacular. Let me get his entire stat line. My man, 0 for 15 from the field, including 0 for 7 from the 3-point line. He missed 2 free throws, making it worse. He did have 5 offensive rebounds, so 9 rebounds, 5 of them offensive. He had 3 assists. He had a steal. He had 3 blocks, 3 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. So that's a very special stat line from Alex Sarr. I will say runner up. Now, I don't know the exact, all the shooting numbers out there. I saw some 3 for 18s or some 0 for 10s, but I would like to recognize Dariq Whitehead from the Nets. Real GM is telling me that right now in Summer League, he's shooting 12%. He's 4 for 34 from the field, including 2 for 21 from the 3-point line. So, or maybe it's Derek. I don't know. Dariq?
Could be Derek.
Derek or Dariq. Congratulations for your special stats. But this week's International Stack of Pancakes Award goes to Alex Sarr. Congrats, Wizards. You might have gotten a good one. Anyways, Dave, anything else you're looking forward to? Anything else basketball wise? We didn't even talk Olympics. Outside of the league. We got the Olympics coming up. It's going to be very, very exciting. I do there was a minimum signing that was pretty good. The Bucks, we talked about a fake trade for them, but the Bucks don't have many options as far as acquiring players, but to pick up Gary Trent Jr. on a make good contract seems like a really good deal for them. He could be better than Malik Beasley. I mean, he's 100%. a better player than Malik Beasley. He's a more versatile player. He's also apparently just a super likable guy.
Yeah.
He's I think he's a good locker room guy. So that should be good for the Bucks. And that adds to them getting Taurean Prince is what he is, but he just has to be better than Jay Crowder, which I think he is. And if Delon Wright's healthy, they've at least picked up guys on the minimum who are useful.
And Chris Middleton's going to have fixed ankles.
Chris Middleton has had double ankle surgery, as one does.
Right.
Is it not better to do one at a time? I guess you want to do them both so you heal.
You're going to go on vacation with just one hurt ankle or two. It's a different vacation, right?
That seems awful. You got to get. Do you have those people carry you around on the throne with the
palm
rod, the poles? Yeah.
Yeah. Please fan me and feed me grapes.
Anyway, so maybe the Bucks are doing what they can. The Lakers fans are upset. They haven't really done anything.
When are they happy?
That's a good question.
They had a good. Dalton Knecht is a good draft pick.
Yep, fell to him at 17.
They got the Bronny James thing, which is a very cool story. You still got LeBron James, he re-signed. Anthony Davis looked great.
I like Anthony.
Jokic.
Man, Anthony Davis and LeBron, they're so good. Yeah. And watching them play in the Olympics, where it's oh wow, they're so good.
Especially when you have them on an all-star team.
Yeah, because those are the superstars that can fit with anybody. They're not these specialty players that kind of have to have the ball. Embiid is good. I'm not going to say Embiid's not amazing. He's one of the best offensive players in the NBA. The Team USA stuff, it's not. He is useful as a huge guy who can score. He also set some amazing pin down screens for Steph. So him as a screener is really fun to see because maybe that isn't what he's asked to do all the time. But the versatility of an AD and a Bam, to me, it just fits better in this kind of play. But anyways,
you can't be out there falling around in international basketball. I mean, straight up, you just can't. They're going to run on you. Yeah. And you're not going to get those weak NBA calls because you fell down. Those refs, they don't know you like that.
Yep. Well, anyways, I think we can end it there, Dave. We'll have more basketball coming up. There's still more summer league. And of course, the Olympics are really going to get heated up here soon. There's more exhibition games as teams warm up for that. We'll talk about all of that. Very, very exciting stuff. Anyways, if you want to support this program, again, do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Dave, let's take a break, man. Let's not talk for maybe 4 or 5 days. Just, give us a little room. It's been a lot. No, I'm kidding. I like this, Dave. But what if we become everyday communicators? I only have, I don't know. Are we ready?
We text a lot.
We text a lot. Anyways, pleasure talking with you as always. Listeners, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing. Hands off, NBA Players Association.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fair break, man. You understand?